Yes, yep, that black
You
one.
could park between the lines. Every time I come over, you're over the line.
Well, I didn't want to crowd Howdy. There wasn't quite enough. He crowd the line on this side, so I just have to crowd it down a little further.
See, those lines aren't set up
Nobody
for trucks.
buys a regular pickup truck. It has to be a Super Duty 3/4 ton.
Hey, I'm down to a half ton now.
That's what makes you cool.
Yeah.
My car's got 240 horsepower. It needs about 80.
Yeah.
It's only like, it's got more torque than horsepower, which it doesn't need that.
Yeah, you got that tow package of that thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll race you, James. I bet my pickup can take you.
I don't know, man, that car is really quick. Do you know in the Nuremberg rig in Germany,
Yeah,
it's the fastest front-wheel drive car.
really?
Look at all the front wheel in the Volkswagen GTI, is the fastest front-wheel car.
Yeah,
Mm.
wow.
Mm.
No, I know they're nice cars. I've driven them some, yeah.
When they started in 1970, they had the right amount of horsepower. Now they got over double that. And you can get them with like 300 horsepower,
Yeah,
which you do not need.
yeah.
Talk.
Okay, you ready? All right, I have got 5 o'clock. I call the meeting to order today, Monday, December 5th, 2022. Roll call, we have Selectman Howdy Goodwin, Eric Eaton, Mackenzie Jewett, Kevin Buck, myself, Jamie Thurlow, Town Manager Jesse Dunbar, and Town Attorney James Collier. Is there adoption of agenda? Is there anything anyone would like to change on the agenda? No? Okay, we have approval of minutes. We have the minutes from November 14th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of November 14th, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from November 14th, 2022. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Approval of warrants. Your list is a little shorter this time, Jesse. Warrant 51 for $11,460.97. 52 for $11,147.01. 53 for $10,954.56. 54 for $109,306.17. And warrant 55 for $183,043.23.
Make a motion to approve warrants 51 through 55.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve warrants 51 through 55. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, next we have committee appointments. We have a one at-large seat with term expiring June 30th, 2023 on the Comprehensive Plan Task Force. We had one application in our packet, and I believe you added one in. Is this
Yes,
okay?
there's one that came in
There's one that came in
on Friday.
okay late. So we have Jordan Wolf and we have Sarah White. And if either one of you would like to speak or anything before, if there's anything you'd like to say.
Hi, I'm Jordan.
Okay.
Nice to be here. I just moved here, so I'm just looking for ways to get involved, and I love the growth and sustainability of town, and happy to be a part of it. He's lived here a long time and has not come to one of these, so I'm happy to tag him along with me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yes.
I'm Sarah White, and I want to give back to the town. One of the many reasons I fell in love with living here was not only when I was a National Park Ranger way back when in Acadia, but when I received the comprehensive plan. At that time, my home was seasonal for the summer because I hadn't retired to be a full-time, which I am now. And I was just really, really impressed with the thoroughness of it, and would love to do what I can to do my part. I've got a background that I could offer whatever is needed or not, as I've been an educator, I've been a park ranger, I've been a forest ranger in Maine in the Down East region. I've almost taught in an island schoolhouse, Monhegan, almost got a teaching position in an island schoolhouse. I worked a summer in science research on Seal Island, National Wildlife Refuge for the national, for Dr. Stephen Kress, studying puffins and Arctic terns. I don't know everything, but I have a lot to offer, and I have a lot to learn, and I'm a really good listener, and I'm a doer person, so
Thank you.
whatever I could do.
Yeah. And thank you both for applying. It's great to have two people here for a position, and it's hard to get people to fill committees, so thank you. What would you?
I think Jordan, the notes we had, it said you're not necessarily welded to the comprehensive plan, some of the other committees. I think Jesse mentioned that.
Yeah, that was
No.
my preferred,
Yeah.
just because of my past experience in South Carolina. I was involved with the comprehensive plan there. But I have a degree in sustainability science, and I also was the director of a nonprofit for 4 years. And I do, I do consulting work for nonprofits here, and so I have grant writing experience and sustainability and fundraising and, just communications and marketing experience. I was open to the sustainability committee or the broadband committee because I knew that there was a need. But I am flexible.
My gut feeling is it's phenomenal to have two people applying for the only vacant position on a board. I'd hate to say no to anyone.
Right. It doesn't happen very
Would you be
Yeah.
okay serving on the broadband committee at this point?
Sure.
Okay. That sounds like that decision's pretty easy to make. You have,
Well, I was just
Oh.
curious, I mean, we did get Jordan's application first, and we're just seeing Sarah's now. Would you be willing to serve
Yeah.
on one of the other committees?
Either that or perhaps the sustainability, but I actually didn't know about this opening until Friday. Like because I get the minutes, that's the only way I found out, so I would have applied earlier, but I
Gotcha.
just didn't know.
And do we have openings on the sustainability?
I don't think that one does.
There-
right?
That
I'm
one
just
is
trying to
full.
think, I wanna make sure everybody has a spot here because
Yeah.
it is, I'm happy to
Yeah.
see everyone.
I guess I would really love to serve on the comprehensive
Mhm.
plan committee, just because, I'm really impressed and would just love to jump in
Mhm.
if you need that.
We're not used to making this decision because normally we're lucky if we get one person, yeah.
I guess I just, I just want to be present and involved, so yes, comprehensive planning sounds more interesting to me and sounds like it would be more fulfilling for what my interests are, but I will be where they're present, where there's needs, so.
And you have experience in comprehensive plan.
Yes, from when I was in Spartanburg, I was very much involved with the writing and implementation of the plan.
That's quite a bit.
I
right there.
wonder,
Yeah, that's,
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if there's a
Mhm.
possibility of having an alternate on the committee and then letting both ladies on, appoint one of them and appoint the other one as an alternate,
Mhm.
non-voting. And then if someone drops off, they're in.
So they could go to meetings
Go on
and be,
meetings, they can be a member of the committee, they just wouldn't get to vote on any issues that we're voting.
and unless there was someone that was absent?
Yeah,
then-
and
yeah.
then they could be a backup. No, not absent,
Not
but to
absent.
need to
If
make-
someone-
needed to
yeah,
make a
sorry.
quorum.
Mhm.
But otherwise, they show up to all the meetings, just like auditing Class University. And then if someone drops off, they're in.
That's
So
a
that
good,
may
yeah, that's a
be
really good
too.
idea. And then, also the sustainability committee, that would allow them to be part of that as well, you know? Yeah, I think
All the
that-
meetings are public anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, you can attend any of them,
Yeah.
either, whether they're on Zoom or live, you're always welcome.
It's my experience with these sort of things, if you make them an alternate, they tend to show up more. They're more invested.
Yeah.
So you're saying appoint one and make one an alternate?
Yeah,
do we have to do anything with our bylaws or
they're the
anything?
next, they're the next person if somebody goes off,
Mhm.
they're there. Or if you need them for a quorum and they happen to be there, you can.
Mhm.
I'll make
I
a
like
motion.
that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend the bylaws of the Comprehensive Plan Task Force to provide for a position for an alternate.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to amend the bylaws for the Comprehensive Plan Task Force and allow for an alternate. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay,
I'll motion to appoint Jordan Wolf to the seat of the Comprehensive Plan Task Force expiring June 30th, 2023.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to appoint Jordan Wolf to the seat on the Comprehensive Plan Task Force expiring June 30th, 2023. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay,
And I'll motion to appoint Sarah White to the alternate seat of the Comprehensive Plan Task Force expiring June 30th, 2023.
Second.
Is it the same expiration date? Yeah. Okay.
it's been moved and seconded to appoint Sarah White as the alternate on the Comprehensive Plan Task Force with a seat expiring June 30th, 2023. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
I just have a
And-
quick question. Do you think that we should advertise for the other vacant seats on, like, there's this says there are
The
two?
broadband is currently being
Oh, okay.
advertised. The sustainability is full. There's been some discussion on whether or not we should increase the size of the
I
sustainability.
think that'd be a good idea too.
Yeah. No, and I want to thank both of you for coming out
Yeah.
and
Yeah, right.
showing it's great to see people want want to be a part of this, and yeah, thank you.
I don't know if Jordan is also interested in serving on the broadband in
Should
addition,
be on two committees.
or not,
I did.
but
Yeah.
since she's here.
Don't let them get away.
know the
The
dates that
volunteer.
they meet, and then I can do both. I mean,
Yeah, see?
I have,
Since she's here.
I was
Yeah, I
thinking
mean-
that too, I wasn't gonna push.
What would so if we did broadband,
Just check the term.
yeah, I was gonna say, that's what I was gonna ask, is the term.
June 30th, 2025.
Okay, June 30th.
It's more of a commitment.
Don't
Would
feel
you be
any pressure.
interested in that as well? Or either, I should say,
when does it meet?
It's not on a regular basis right now, like once a month or less.
No,
It's fine. Yeah. I have to install everything.
I make a motion to appoint Jordan Wolf to the Broadband Committee with term expiring June 30th, 2025.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to appoint Jordan Wolf to a seat on the Broadband Committee with term expiring June 30th, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Once again, thank you very much, both of you. All right, next we have regular business. First thing is short-term rental and Airbnb regulations is the title of it. We have received a memo with signatures that has been drafted by Jane Ashworth. James, could you help me clarify the definition of what this is exactly?
Yeah, so, that's an epistle or missive. It's not a petition because it's nowhere near the right number of voters. So in order to be a valid petition, it has to be 10% of the people who voted in the last gubernatorial election, which town manager tells me is like 92.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to deal with it because it's not doesn't have enough numbers, missing by that number. As to what's in it, I'm encouraged that you have people in town who are interested in zoning questions. And what it's talking about is registration.
Can I stop you there, James?
Sure.
Can we start with, I think, I brought this up.
Yep.
And I'd like to start with just ideas from the select board and put this second.
Yeah. But I was gonna get to that. The ideas.
Yeah.
The more general picture, I was just gonna say that I don't think you should discuss it much. Because I think you're doing the comprehensive plan right now. I think you should refer this to the comprehensive plan committee. Let them do it. Then it should go to the planning board, and then the planning board should recommend an ordinance to you. That's why I actually don't think you should discuss it.
Okay?
I don't think it's your role. There's basically a couple of ways to do things in Tremont that I've seen, which is either people come directly to the selectmen and say, we want an ordinance change. And the selectmen get all up in their hind legs and they do it. But usually what happens around here, the harbor committee does the facilities or the harbor stuff, the planning board do zoning and so on. So I recommend to you as town council that you shouldn't deal with this, that you should send it out to the planning board who has more experience, more interaction with these matters. Let them have some meetings, take input, especially from the 34 people who signed the petition, come up with some ideas. Here, however, because there's currently a comprehensive planning process underway, I don't even think you should do that. I think you should do your comprehensive plan first, then do this, then come back.
Sure.
I also want to note that I had a memo I did 4 years ago for Town Manager Saunders. I did another one today. I did one previous to that for another town manager. It's an issue that comes up every 4 or 5 years.
And that's kind of the reason why I brought it up, because I don't see the need to wait that long. When is the comprehensive plan put in action?
The comprehensive plan is, the target date for it to be finished is September of '23, and then it would have to be enacted by a town meeting. So at the earliest,
2
November
years.
of '23, or you could schedule.
Well, that's
a
not
special.
terrible then, so.
And then it's up to the various boards and committees to implement what's suggested in the plan.
Yeah.
So if the plan suggests rental restrictions, then that's when the planning board would start its goal of meeting the comprehensive plan's suggestions.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I brought it up, is because when I came to the comprehensive plan, whatever, open house, that was the biggest topic that I noticed. So that's why I wanted to talk about it and try to, I don't know, get a foot ahead on it. But I like what you said. That's a better way to go about it, for sure.
I think so. The registration thing is fascinating, a fascinating place to start, right? They did this in Canada with guns. They did a registration first. Just registered all the guns. And then they started doing buybacks to get rid of long guns, very big guns. And in Bar Harbor, they have a system of registration. My friend Mike Kirtler, who's the deputy code enforcement officer, also plays poker with me. Mike does this, and it was prompted by a couple of guys dying in a fire, and it was these rogue places where people didn't know that they had rental units. The problem in Bar Harbor was they wanted to have a way of doing enforcement, and they have an outside company which has a algorithm on the internet that goes on and searches for these things to try to pick up people and do the enforcement. It's really complicated. And they're trying to limit it on the non-resident people to 9%. The realtors that I talk to say that's ridiculous. It's around a third of the houses that are non-resident, owned by non-residents of Bar Harbor and rented out for vacation rentals. So and my wife and I drive around in the winter and you don't see any houses that are, so, all dark. And you know which ones are which. So it's a big problem, and it's a complicated, very sophisticated problem, which is really why I don't think you should talk about it, because it's so complicated and sophisticated. The other thing about it, in the big picture idea, is philosophically, as a town, that's what comprehensive plan does, philosophically. You know, what do you wanna be, romantic, right? Yeah, do whatever you want with your property. That's BS, because you never do whatever you want with your property, since time immemorial. It's fine to say you should do whatever you want. You wanna have an amusement park on your property? Well, your neighbor doesn't want it. So you have to have limits, right? I think these are a scourge, and I personally hate them. On the other hand, a lot of people in Bar Harbor have them. My house is now worth $800,000 or $900,000. Should be worth $500,000 or $600,000
Sure.
because of the possibility of revenue generation. But nobody can afford to live in Bar Harbor. Teachers, my wife's a teacher, most of the teachers, they go off island. All the people who work for the town of Bar Harbor, very few live there anymore. The dentist in town can't get workers. Nobody can afford a place to live. And it went from there. You know what it's like in Southwest, right? It's a zoo over there. That's a dying frenzy. It's coming.
Well, exactly, it's coming, so that's,
It's already here.
yeah. It's already here, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're about 5 years too late. You should look at 5 years ago. Nobody,
Yeah.
I've made this argument over and over.
But is it really our place to tell people what they can and cannot do on a piece of property that they purchased, inherited, whatever? I
Yes,
mean,
because you do it all the time. Right? You do it all the time. That's what a land use ordinance is. You tell them they can't build within the setback, right?
yeah,
You tell them they can't build 100-foot tall houses. There's a height limit.
gee, okay.
You tell them that they can't have a band playing at 3 o'clock in the morning and waking everybody up. I could go on. There's all kinds of regulations on what you can do and can't do. Is it your place? No, it's the planning board and the voters, but it's your warrant.
So you're advising us to not, get involved until it's been to the planning board, and
Yeah.
then, once they bring something to us, then we would either, say, yes, we agree, no, we don't, this is why, and such. Is that
Well,
what
I
you're?
would not, it's slightly different. I would like it to go to the comprehensive planning committee
Okay,
first. Ask them to hurry up with this issue. You mentioned that they're already discussing it a lot.
Yeah,
So I think a motion might be appropriate to refer it to the planning board, but for it to be discussed
Yep.
as soon as possible, if it already has not, as a comprehensive plan, and then I would think sometime in January, February, take it up with the planning board, and I would anticipate, because I like to get stuff done, that you get it on the spring town meeting.
well, that would be
This
ideal.
spring? Even though the comprehensive
Chop,
plan
chop,
is.
Ashwin's go, well, let's go.
Yeah,
that's
but
what I've
even though
been
the
saying. You told me
comprehensive
to slow
plan
down.
isn't going to be done until later?
That's an opposing viewpoint. The planning board might say, we're gonna wait till the comprehensive plan's finished, then we're gonna put it on for the fall, or even the next spring. Other people might, as Eric's alluded to, other people might be going, the hell's your problem? They're buying up houses by the minute. It's getting worse by the minute. And you certainly have people who are concerned. So it's up to you, but I think you should vote to send it to the planning board, to get them to investigate the possibility, and to also at the same time ask the planning board to encourage the comprehensive plan to speed up their review. And then to come back to you with a recommendation. Timeline is up to you guys, but I think you should give them a target to the planning board, because if you don't, it might go on for 5 years.
Yeah, and I respect the process, so I wanna do it
How
the
much
way,
process?
the way the process is set up to go to the comprehensive plan.
And
I
this
know, and
isn't
that's-
part of the process, though.
yeah.
No.
This is not
Yeah.
part of the process.
And that's what I would like to say too, is I don't understand why, people feel the need to try to, petition or such. You knew it was on the agenda, you knew we hadn't had a chance to talk about it yet. It's, it seems like the process doesn't even have a chance to happen anymore. These, whatever you call them, I'm not sure, James said they're not a petition, but whatever, seem to come to us before we've even had a chance to talk about it or discuss it or get anybody, if you want small town government to work, then you kind of have to let it go through its processes. And,
May I speak?
yes,
I started to collect signatures before I heard Eric say that he wanted it on the agenda. I felt like I had a commitment to the people who'd already signed to bring it to the board.
okay.
But shouldn't you go to the town manager and ask for it before signatures are collected? Shouldn't somebody have gone to Jesse or Jamie and said, can we get this on an agenda before?
I didn't know that that was the process. I went to Jesse and said, do we know how many people have short-term rentals in Tremont? He said, no. I said, do we have a way to determine that? And he said, no. And I thought, okay, maybe what we need is an ordinance. That's what seems to be what happens in Tremont. So I wanted to indicate that there were people in Tremont who were interested. I didn't know that you had to have 10% of the voters to submit something to the board.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to getting it to the planning board and comprehensive task force.
I also think the chair might want to remind people that in this town, generally, if you want to get something on the agenda, it's not that hard.
No, we
Well,
don't,
the town manager
Right, we've never
talks
said
about
no.
it.
we don't refuse people to get on, that's why I'm
We'll
confused
discuss
as
all
to
the
why
things here.
this seems to, occur. What's that?
I guess the real reason is, why would we be doing it? What would be the purpose of it, James? I
Well,
guess,
the idea would be that
what would we gain?
just like the camping thing got to be an issue, right, in two or three different applications. And it was sent out to try to let the planning board deal with it. So here, the idea is it a problem? I personally, not as your attorney, but my situation as Bar Harbor is I'm disgusted with them. I have been for 20 years. Is there an idea to do it? Yeah, in Bar Harbor, they've fought for the last 30 years about this. Is it time in Tremont? I don't know. So what would you gain? The planning board would investigate. People would come in and they would say, do you think we should do this here or not? And the majority might say, especially people who are connected to people who are rental businesses, we don't want that. We want all rentals that, or the feeling might be, we've got to crack down now. So what would you gain? You gain a discussion of the issue. And eventually, right, you can talk with the planning board with a series of public hearings, but it's your warrant. So anything they recommend, it comes back to the planning board, just like the camping thing did. And then at that time, you can discuss it. And
Back to the
put
select
what you
board, you
want on
mean?
the warrant.
Back to the select board, you mean, right?
Right, it's, your select board it's your warrant. So at that time, you could have a hearing and then change it then. You get final say.
No, yeah, no, I just
Then it
No,
goes to vote.
before the
try to
vote.
speed it up, that's all.
I guess my question more so was, what are the petitioners trying to gain by this? I mean, I don't see how this is gonna help our town any.
So Mike, I
I
guess
don't,
it's not about really the petitioners, I mean, it is, but I
Yes.
brought it up because I felt that if non-residents buy up a lot of the property around here and use it for weekly rentals, then it takes away from people around here being able to find a rental, an affordable rental, and it also, affordable housing. It takes away from that. I don't think residents should be restricted at all in the short-term rentals. I think non-residents should be restricted in the short-term rentals. That way, hopefully it can allow more people, residents, to be able to afford property or rent property or whatever around here. That's my
I mean,
reason.
just, for example, my properties, and 50% of them are year-round, 50% of them are vacation rentals. And I wouldn't be able to afford to have the year-round rentals if I didn't have the vacation rentals. So with the cost of construction now, you can't have just year-round and then do it, you just can't. It's not
James, what
feasible.
happens to the people that already have rentals now?
See, now, right away, I
That's
wanna
part
try
of the
to.
discussion
Oh,
that we
yeah.
should
no,
be
we're not
having.
supposed to be
We're
having.
getting-
Okay,
I
okay,
mean, I got an
sorry,
idea
sorry,
for that
sorry.
too. I mean,
You see how you're gone off a cliff, which is
Yeah.
why I tried to stop Eric earlier and
Okay.
say, I
Yeah.
don't wanna discuss this now.
Okay.
yeah.
Send them, because this is a
Sorry.
knock them down, drag them out, 20, 30-year battle in Bar Harbor. Many ideas have come up and they finally settled on something, which is now a court being challenged. it's not a simple issue. I've got my ideas. But guys in my own poker group, small, my closest friends, they have rentals. I mean, I don't like guns. Some of them have AK-47s. You know, you don't know till you. So,
I think James makes a really good point, at least part of it. I don't agree with you with all that, but surprise, surprise. Anyway, it is a complicated issue. There's a lot of, there's some negatives to it, and there's a lot of bonuses, pluses for it too. And I think it's something that should really be discussed at the proper boards
so
and
motion
proper
to send it to
process.
the planning board.
Yeah. I wanna see the process, however the correct process is, have it go that way. So you wanna see a motion to go to for the
Send it to
select
the-
board to recommend, the planning board.
Take this out,
Okay,
to return to you with a possible ordinance, with a report.
Okay.
Whether it could be an ordinance, might be a don't do an ordinance,
okay.
and then generally, when you'd like to see that. I think you should do it soon as possible.
Yeah.
And for next June, you do the
Yeah.
May, for the town meeting.
But we would have to have public hearings on it after, so you've gotta leave a lot of time, so you've
It's
gotta,
up to you.
so
You
can we
plan to
just
have one
say
next fall?
ASAP? I don't know what that.
No, I
we
think
do
you
it
should get a,
Okay.
roughly a date to encourage them, so
Okay.
they know how much time they have.
What's realistic?
I think realistic would be the fall. You guys usually have a fall meeting, don't you?
Yeah,
So the fall,
so
2023?
just say November 2023?
Yeah.
Or what, I don't know what
With
you're,
recommendations for possibility of a warrant article in November.
Do you think,
So that doesn't
Pardon?
make May town meeting.
no, but then it has to be to us. I'm just not, I guess I'm not understanding you, James. It needs to be to us
Yeah,
2 months ahead of time.
yeah.
So that way we have time to look at it, see if we think there needs to be any changes, but also so that we can have the correct public hearings, enough time, so.
Sometime around the 1st of August, but that's fast track.
Okay,
I still think that's pretty fast.
If it happens.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they may get together and say nobody wants it.
You
Yeah.
can't do it
Maybe it would be just too tight, I mean, the
Yeah.
landlord would have to do it like
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, everybody okay with August 1st, if we try to get something, out of the planning board by August 1st? To us,
And-
August 1st, and that
and
way.
just not bother to refer to the comprehensive plan task force?
No, I think
at this
that's
point?
part of it. I think they're gonna consult with the
Okay.
planning.
But that's their job, not ours, so.
That's right.
Yep,
Okay.
okay. So August 1st, excuse me, to select board. And it would be their recommendation, we'll just say.
Yeah.
Do you think part of that ought to be some kind of, at least rough calculation on how many short-term rentals there might be in town?
No, I
Okay.
think a recommendation on what, if anything, to do about short-term rentals.
Okay.
And maybe everybody should have them. Or it should be, everybody who's a local should have them, who's a year-round resident who pays taxes here, gets the homestead exemption, they should have it. It may be nobody who's not a Mainer should have it. You don't know. I'll
That's
let
their
you know.
job to figure out, that's what they're supposed
I've
to
kind
do.
of, I wonder about the legality of a couple of those suggestions.
That is no problem, I can guarantee you that's legal.
Okay, I was curious
Because they
about
did
that.
it in Bar Harbor.
Okay.
Does that make it right?
Doesn't make it right, because nothing in Bar Harbor is right. But it does make it legal because they studied the hell out of it, or otherwise somebody would sue.
They have.
But they haven't sued on that issue, they've sued on the issue of the vote, and whether it was the planning board, and whether the planning board had to approve, and therefore had 2/3 versus 50%, which was a different issue.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to request the planning board to look into some type of ordinance regarding potential ordinance for, short-term rentals.
And to be back to the select
Oh,
board to
and hopefully get back to us by,
August 1st.
first, yeah, it's the date, yeah,
Second,
2023.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, to request that the planning board, draft recommendations, would that be okay, or can we say
Po-
yes?
Yeah, look into me forming a possible ordinance, how does
Okay,
that sound?
yep,
Something like
look
that.
into forming a
Nice and
possible
Nice and
ordinance, yep. For short-term rentals, and bring their recommendation to the select board, by August 1st of 2023. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay,
And now you people can go to there, right? Or Mike, or the other people.
Yep.
You can go express your personal beliefs at the planning board.
okay. All right. Next, we have the fire pond expansion. We have spoke about this before, and Keith is here. I know we have talked about expanding the fire pond out back of the school on the Marsh Road. Is there, I know we were gonna try to put it in the next year's budget, is there anything new with it, or any reason to try to, try to get it done now, or?
Well, so there was, one there talking about an expansion of school, I think you were at
Mhm.
the last week. So I think it's important to establish that we have plenty of water supply near adjacent to the school, so we are not forced by the state to have sprinkler systems for one, so, but, so.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. See ya.
It would be a huge financial savings if that, we go down that road. But, second of all, Roger St. Amant for doing the permitting, and, Matt, their work can't be done in the spring because of a nesting or salamander, any type sort of things that might be there. We didn't seem like a huge presence, but, we would have to put it in our fire department budget to request the funds, which would come in starting in July of next year. And we were just trying to get a jump start on it, and my thoughts were, instead of using some of the ARPA funds, or whatever they're called, for signage and paving, those sort of things, that we could use something for that would be, basically benefiting the whole town, the whole community. But if you guys wanna wait and have us put it in our annual request for next year, we could, add, it'll just be added on to a different
Yep.
annual request.
Yep.
But I just was trying to utilize those funds for something that would substantial and be able to get kind of a head start, get that work done over here instead of waiting for another over here. That was the only.
Yep, okay.
You wouldn't be able to do it till next winter, otherwise, right?
Well, I think this winter would be a good chance to get someone in there. They basically were gonna charge for the, machinery to be in there for like almost a week straight, just moving dirt and gravel, and, so I think in the summertime it's hard to, everything's greened up and leaves and
Sure.
foliage. I just think this would be a great idea, instead of putting it off to another year and meeting with some of the architects and engineers that proposing the addition to the school. That's one thing that they want to see is a large substantial water supply adjacent to the school. So I'm just kind of go with these a lot of people.
Do we actually have a quote from a contractor? I mean, this is $5,000.
So
We haven't
basically
seen
we
it.
told them that we were gonna budget around $5,000, and they said that it would be about $1,000 a day to have a contractor in there, with one of their larger 200 machines, whatever, it has a large reach
Yeah.
to.
It's pretty good to get it dug out for that. Yeah.
And the other thing, or in the early spring when the roads are posted or something, so they could be in there doing, before the roads get posted and before the early spring development, so just a couple windows, but like I said, the 5,000 is what we told them, and they might get it done in 2 days with one of the big machines, but that's kind of what we budgeted for.
Jesse, does this qualify for ARPA funds? I know there's rules and it does fall under ARPA.
Are they gonna haul, just, it doesn't matter, but are they hauling the material off, or just spreading it around, like making a big area, or?
We're actually hoping, part of one of those days was to, bring the hydrant to the main road instead of up the side road, because then that's just more work for the public works crew to try to keep that open in
Yep.
the winter. But, I really don't know if there's gonna be a large
that's what I was just thinking, if we could get creative on where the town would use it too, you know, if, you know, if you need a stockpile, Jesse, 1,000 yards of gravel, then.
Yeah, I don't know what quality, it seems like a lot of large boulders, but,
Yep,
yeah.
probably clay up in there.
But, yeah, it's a good thing, I don't think they're just gonna truck it back to the pit, I think
Yep.
the whole idea was not to have a lot of trucks on.
Yeah,
the road, just
exactly.
One guy with a big machine.
Yep.
Do we have any other ARPA projects planned that I'm forgetting about?
Not that, not with what's currently in there. I've taken everything that's been reserved
Yeah.
of that.
We already signed off on the pond, doing the pond itself, right? This is just the funding?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and you thought you had that covered when you came to us the first time, right?
The first thing was to try to be permitting and even
Yeah.
if you would entertain the idea of this. One of the big things I'll throw in while we're talking is, we have ponds like at the end of Mackenzie Road with the ledges intersection there. That was a pretty substantial pond at one time and now it's just turned into a frog pond and being insult to what it is, but,
It's like a mud puddle.
and it's privately owned, so for us to go in and reestablish and dig it is impossible. So this is a great opportunity where it's town-owned property. And, hopefully it'll, you know, and we can maintain and update our own pond. Even Bubbles Pond up in Seal Cove, we've had trouble just getting the grass off it. I think it's just 3 feet of sludge in there.
Yep. What about Reed's Pond? Just thinking, I always went up there as a kid, but I didn't know if you can draw off it anymore.
No, we do, but I
Yep.
don't lick my fingers after we've been there.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a true beaver pond, but,
Yep.
sort of thing with that quality of water, but,
Yep.
this I think would be good quality, clean water.
Mhm.
If we keep it anywhere being town-owned property, we can maintain it. I mean, we all love to draft water from Seal Cove Pond, but usually that's really quite a distance for us to travel.
Mhm.
So,
No.
You don't have any idea how much you can expand it at this point either, right, Keith?
that pit,
Yeah.
I do, I don't have a copy with me. Roger St. Amant sent all the preliminaries, and we've met with the, DEP, actually, it was like John Collins' very last day, he came back with us, and, it's already up to scale. But then the thing is I'm not sure how deep we can go,
Yeah,
because
that's what
again,
I'm wondering.
I can't imagine sledge right there, but, he doesn't want us to enlarge the envelope, but,
So it's just digging it deeper in the same footprint, basically?
yeah, so it would, and we could say, or even if it's, see, the problem is you can go there in the middle of summer and it's bone dry, but, we're hoping to redirect it or something. We always have 10 gazillion gallons in the ocean, but we try to avoid using that. This always seems to be low tide and all these things.
So if it gets dug out in the summer, there's still gonna be water there? Like you just said, it dries out in the summer. If you dig it out, there'll be water there all the time?
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah, sure.
That's what
Get
we're
down,
hoping
yeah.
for.
We're gonna redirect, the outlet will be blocked off, so we're hoping the type of soil will retain water, shot it out,
Yeah.
but.
Usually if you get 6 feet and you can get, Howdy knows more about it than I do, but if you get 6 feet and you get a little clay in there, then you shouldn't be good.
Should be
Yep.
full of water.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can get it done, now for that price, I think, I thought when I read this must be just a portion of it. I thought that there must be something hidden, but if it's, no.
Okay, Justin Lee used to be a member of the department, and he said he would just sit there and operate
Yeah.
for a week and pay their fuel and their labor.
Yeah, and if there's anything, Jesse, that you could think of that, I know, can't think of any off the top of my head, but just something that if they do have to truck it, the town could use, or, you know, for any of its areas, maybe down by the town landing or something, just trying to think of where else, you know, if they do end up hauling 500-600 yards out of there.
Yep.
I've got no problem using the ARPA money.
Should we say up to $5,000 of ARPA funds now?
Yeah, I think I'd say up to, yeah.
Yep, I think that's perfect.
I make a motion to use up to $5,000 of the ARPA fund reserve to pay for the expansion of the Marsh Road fire pond.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to use up to $5,000 of ARPA funds, reserved to pay for the expansion of the Marsh Road fire pond. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have, investment potential for surplus funds. And I've got to say, I about passed out when I saw the CD rate, what it's
Yeah, I
gone
know.
to now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Jesse, you can, maybe explain how, yeah.
So I was approached by, another local bank, with their interest rates for CDs. It's been several years, both banks have kind of offered investment portfolio options to, Tremont as well as, some neighboring towns, and usually it just ends up not coming to fruition. Rates have obviously not been as high before, and Tremont itself hasn't had the surplus balance that it currently has, where it's now safely above the state minimum requirement. So we're required to have, I believe when I calculated it last, it was around 600 some thousand is what's suggested, highly suggested by the state that we have in our surplus as liquid. So we have right around $1 million right now. The FY '22 budget isn't completed yet to see what the updated number is, but it should still be right around that. So there is a proposal, after the bank contacted me, I had a conversation with the chair, and he suggested reaching out to Barber Bank and Trust, which is where the town does all of its financial, has all of its finances, and she sent over a proposal for what they have available for rates and offers. The proposal's broken it down into two different scenarios for investing, either in money market and CD/T-bills, which are treasury bills, or solely in a CD option. And as you can see in the proposal in my memo, the highest yield is in scenario number 2 with the bank CD option at 4.8% for 1 year. So these are 1 year, will be a 1 year CD option, which generates, is proposed to generate $12,292 in 1 year on a CD investment of $250,000.
Like a good idea to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I saw the rate, I was like,
I know, that
wow.
amazing, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
that's
a
just
quarter
locked in,
of a
right,
percent.
Jesse? That rate is just locked in this time.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with a CD with a local bank is about as safe, I think, as you possibly could get,
Yeah,
and
it's- we haven't historically tapped into that fund anyway, so tying it up for a year is not a big deal.
and if we left it in a savings account, what would the number be? I saw it on
I thought
that
it
chart,
was
and
$256.
yeah, $250.13 if we leave it in the savings account, which it's in right now, so.
Kind of a
As opposed to
no-brainer.
12,000.
Call
Yeah.
it, yeah, no, I know.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
And I don't know if I like the money market idea for right now, I think that's a little
Yeah,
dicier.
yeah, let's stay with that
That
anyway.
one's considered a low risk, but the CD is
No risk in a
CD's
CD.
guaranteed.
Yeah. When you turn 5% interest on for a year, that's pretty good.
Well, do you think the 250,000 is a good number?
Yeah, I would be, as treasurer, would be comfortable.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I make a motion to direct the town treasurer to invest $250,000 of the town's surplus fund balance in CD T-bill scenario with Bar Harbor Financial Services.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to direct the town treasurer to invest $250,000 of town surplus fund balance in, what's scenario 2, which is the CD/T-bills, with an interest rate of 4.8%, with Bar Harbor Financial Services. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Yeah, think about that, what that was like a year ago.
You look
It was
at
like
it's
point something.
yeah, it's like a quarter of a percent.
Yeah, no, I know, 0.3. All right, next we have the heating oil bids. And I try to understand this the best I can, but we used to get a price, so if you're,
Yes.
if you get your heating oil, it's $3.25 a gallon for the whole year, but now it's
Yes.
rack rate.
Right. So the superintendent's office, which normally collects the bids, for the area towns, has been working to get those bids. The fuel companies weren't willing to issue them. And so they have resorted to rack plus pricing quotes, which is essentially the rack rate plus this set amount per gallon for the duration of the contract. Acadia Fuel is once again the lowest rate, that's our current fuel provider, at rack rate plus 6 cents a gallon. We did also receive a fixed price option from No Frills at $3.85 a gallon for the duration of the contract. I believe from a conversation I had with No Frills early this fall, they had pre-bought a large amount that they were able to offer contract pricing for.
Do you know today's rack rate? I know you mentioned the memo you,
I did not get a call back
okay.
today.
What was the fixed price last year, do you know?
$2.13.
Yep,
I bet it will be close to that this year.
yeah, pretty close.
It says the rack rate when you received the proposal was $3.76. So, I mean, I know, that's kind of a game, because $3.76 and John Seavey's, 6 cents on there.
You're still under the fixed price.
You're under, but how long are you gonna be,
Right.
that's the only thing that we all know what's going on with, it's so, I mean, I don't know, I've heard rumors that it's gonna be hard to get and could go through, I was talking to a friend of mine in Grand Manan the other day, and they're paying like $11 a gallon right now, because it's on an island for Grand Manan, it's up in Canada,
Wow.
so it's a lot.
I will add, that the No Frills is not willing to hold any of those prices. It's strictly day by day. When I asked if we would hold it until the 6th, he said, no, you can call the 6th.
Oh,
So
that
we might
price
tell you
went
something
up.
different tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize
That's a
that,
fun
sorry.
game to play.
He would prefer that I say yes.
Oh,
on the
I
phone.
see. Of course you would. And Acadia Fuel is not locked. That,
The 6 cents per gallon is locked through tomorrow.
but the $3.76
Right.
can move.
Right, that's correct.
So okay, just to be clear again, sorry if I have so many questions about this, but,
Yep.
so the $3.85 might not be valid tomorrow morning if you call. Okay,
There's a chance, yeah.
okay. It depends on, okay. And we've had Acadia Fuel, and we've had no issues with Acadia Fuel?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, even the $3.76 is a good deal, cause everyone else is paying $5 and something right now.
Oh, I know, yeah. And I know, my mother was at the office today, if that's who you tried to call to get the rack rate. Okay, no.
We're rolling the dice no matter what,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
only thing I wanna add to this whole discussion is, I think the town should invest in their own propane tanks.
Yeah.
Cause, last year or the year before, fire department removed themselves from this program because of poor delivery development that happened before, but, we've had the vendor get kicked out of the town essentially, and then just come yank our tanks. And even though, like, we're not even part of that program, so they had to come back and bring our tanks back, but it seems like every time you switch accounts, they wanna also change the LP gas, is that what
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So it always seems like a hassle when they're switching tanks in, or exclude the propane from that contract, because we've ended up with no heat, wonder why there's no tanks against the back of the building.
And tanks are pretty cheap.
Do we-
Tanks are fairly inexpensive as
I
well.
think you can
Not
actually
anymore.
get a better rate if you want, but then the town has to maintain, take care of their own tank, but,
Yep.
That's what we found with both our fire stations, that we came in and our tanks were gone, because they thought that we went with a different company, so we're sitting there with no tanks.
Yes. No, I just did this personally on my, up to the house, just to try to get, my own tank, and I wanted it further away anyway. But I think the tank was close to 2,000, something like that, for the, lay down full-size tank.
Right.
But then you get about 10 to 15 cents less per gallon, delivery rate, so I'm sure it takes a little time, but.
We only have propane with the harbor masters.
So I was,
and-
yeah,
Oh, that's
so I was
it?
gonna ask,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
I didn't think we had much.
Oh, yeah, the generator.
Generator.
That's right, yep.
That's the one that got missed.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I don't know, Acadia Fuels treated us pretty good in the past, I think, and, I mean, they gave us a real good deal last year, and I think they'll be fair
Yeah.
for the price.
Yeah, I'm
And does it
leaning towards-
matter where we get on this plan? Like, I can't remember how this works with, so, excuse me, if we decided one and then the high school decides another,
That's fine.
that's fine, okay. I just didn't know how it worked with whether you all had to be on the same boat or
No.
not. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
I agree with Howdy, I think that's the
Yeah.
Katie.
No, I think if we haven't had any issues and he's the low bid on the rack rate plus, I know, everything's so strange now with trying to price out oils, and so I understand why they don't wanna put their neck out and say X
Yeah,
amount.
absolutely. I'm good with it.
I make a motion to award the 2022 through 2023 heating oil contract to Acadia Fuel at a cost of 6 cents per gallon over the rack rate.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to award the 2022-2023 heating oil contract to Acadia Fuel at a cost of rack rate, we'll call it, plus 6 cents per gallon. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Next, we have the FY '24 budget preparation. This is usually our chance to throw out any requests that the select board has to go on to anything you want, new chairs, new. I tell you what, that heat pump's working or whatever you've got in here. Normally it's cool in here and it's definitely not today.
It is great right here.
Oh, I know, I bet it does. Wow, that's really doing well.
How long has that been in?
It was installed the 17th, so.
Few days after the last meeting.
We did receive the $8,400 from efficiency maintenance.
Oh, awesome.
The 3 units in the town office cost the town $4,400.
Wow.
That's
and
it?
They're gonna be installing one in the office bay in the Public Works garage. On the 14th, I applied for and received $2,800 for that one, so that will cost $1,900. It's bigger.
Yeah.
Wow,
Nice.
So it works.
it's unbelievable.
And we're working on one for an application for the harbor master's office, because that little propane heater here keeps going out.
Have you, I know we're off subject just a touch, but have you tried turning down the thermostat to see if this will hold during the colder days or?
A little bit, but not, I need
Okay,
to play
yep.
with this more.
once it drops down to like 10 degrees. I'm just curious as to how it
I left
responds to
this-
it, that's all.
This one's been on 64 until today, I turned it up again, but
Yeah.
keep 'em.
It's working, I can tell you that. There's no question about that. Anything you guys see that we should add in or anything?
We previously talked about, which is on my list, to do a legal reserve account.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of the, I mean, we'll still
Instead of pulling
budget
it
a
out of the
small
admin, yeah.
amount into
Yeah.
admin, but setting up a reserve that going forward, you would replenish.
Yeah, that's right.
We supposed to be getting sued this year, Jesse?
I hope not.
I know, hopefully this
It's gonna
doesn't
be a better
happen
year.
again, but you never know.
Yeah, maybe a $25,000 legal,
Be all right.
yeah, might not be a bad reserve.
Yeah.
So then going forward, if you've used 8, you put 8 back.
Yeah.
If you use 12, you put 12 back.
What were the bills in the last, it was like 39,000 or was it over 60? I don't
For
remember.
the total
70
Yeah,
something.
expense,
yeah, was it 70?
73.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess I was thinking it just, yeah.
Yeah. Last one I saw was 70 and change.
Yeah,
Getting-
yeah.
Yep.
Maybe it should be more than 25.
This year's gonna be better.
Let's hope.
I think it's a good idea to set up a reserve, and I think that is a good idea. And put 25 in it. Oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Keep them just getting on.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
And then if you, at least if you put 25 in there, hopefully, it never gets used up as quickly as it did this year, but, and then maybe next year we'll decide to put 25 more in, and
Yeah.
at least it would
Yeah, at least
be
we still
something
get-
just in case, yeah.
We could still get more of the administrative budget anyway.
Yep. Yep. That's a good idea.
I haven't identified yet a specific road project. So unless anybody has a specific one, then I'll probably just budget a certain amount to go in the road reserve to save for the upcoming projects.
Most of the town roads are in pretty decent shape now.
I know, they're looking
Wasn't the
good.
last one, the Seal Cove Road, ascent of the Seal Cove Road, isn't that something that we talked about before?
We have talked about doing that one.
Yeah.
I can check in with Troy and see what he thinks.
What's that, a couple hundred yards?
Very far.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the one thing it would be nice if we did that though is get rid of that crest in there.
Oh, that's a good crest. I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about.
You hit that from the other direction there, it says, yeah.
We don't wanna be getting rid of that. What's my
I don't know
kid
what you're
gonna learn?
talking about, at 25 miles an hour, I can't imagine what you're
We're gonna
talking
teach a
about.
kid how to drive.
Yeah, it's a good crest.
Just depends where you land on the other side.
Yeah, that's how you teach them to be careful.
No, I think they've been doing great, you know, all the work that we've been having done too, they've been doing a great job, and it seems like we're kinda keeping ahead of it for once.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to keep doing it, pick another one, and I don't know what's next, so, it's, I mean, didn't we talk about Clark Point?
There's
Section of that is getting pretty bad,
Yeah, the lower south.
towards the boatyard side,
Yeah,
that end, if you halfway through there is,
halfway through.
yeah,
It's
it's
over.
kinda,
Yeah, a couple of culverts are pretty bad there too. I
yeah,
think, so.
that's what the
Yeah.
worst thing is, the
Yeah.
culverts and the,
I think, yeah, I think Troy has one on the spring.
yeah.
Troy places it
Richtown looks pretty good, doesn't it? I thought, that's what I've thought, that Richtown is pretty,
Yeah.
that's good.
Kinda keeping an eye on Bernard, beginning
Mhm.
sections, showing some cracking.
No, it's good to stay ahead of, that's,
Yeah, I'll make a recommendation to, request the town manager include $25,000 in the fiscal year 24 budget for, legal reserve.
Second?
it's been moved and seconded to request the town manager to include $25,000 in the FY 24 budget, in a, should we say, new legal reserve?
Okay.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
And in front of the, school bus garage, that's all on the school
So,
in there, but is it,
as far as a big repair, yes, but the select board had offered to have Public Works take a look at it, to get them by to the point where they did budget paving.
Yeah.
So I did just talk to Ginger briefly a week or so ago, and, Troy and I are looking at it this week. The town's gonna be assisting DOT with a project on Shore Road, so we may utilize some help from them on the bus road.
oh, that's starting this week?
Cutting the shoulder back on the Shore Road to help with the water that's coming out
Oh, yeah.
where it's pooling, freezing the road.
Which place? I can think of three right off the
Just-
top of my head.
The opposite side from you is gonna be cut, the whole
Oh, okay.
shoulder, the whole
Okay.
road. But it's just after where the water comes up, freezes all the way. So, but they're gonna address
They could probably get down most of the length of that on the other side and,
I think that's what the DOT
yeah.
wants.
Yeah. And coming up McMullen Avenue is still flooding and freezing.
That Shore Road's growing in so bad too. It's
It's
growing
Friday.
in, just
Well, they're gonna be rip-rapping that whole cove.
really
Yeah,
good.
they've got a project on that, that's, it's actually undercutting the road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
I mentioned that when I talked with them when Dana was telling me.
Yep.
They're finally getting to it.
All right, next we have a quitclaim deed. Request of the treasurer to approve and sign a quitclaim deed for a property located at 1224 Tremont Road, tax map 9, lot 37A.
All paid and happy?
They just were discharged back in 2013.
I was gonna say, it looked like it was pretty old.
I'll make a motion to sign a quitclaim release deed to Stephen L. Butler for one property located at 1224 Tremont Road, tax map 9, lot 37A, since all assessed liens, fees, and costs have been paid.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to sign a quitclaim release deed to Stephen L. Butler for one property located at 1224 Tremont Road, tax map 9, lot 37A, since all assessed liens, fees, and costs have been paid. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Jesse, town manager's report.
Alright, so since the last meeting, I assisted the auditors, with the FY 22 audit, they were here last Tuesday to complete their site work. Typed up the League of Towns minutes from the last meeting. I had a meeting with FEMA and Maine Emergency Management regarding the DTA, Direct Technical Assistance Grant that we received from FEMA. Conducted performance evaluations on some of the administrative staff, was here for the heat pump installation. Updated the snowplow driver roster, attended the League of Towns meeting, prepared for a quarterly safety committee, meeting. Did meeting prep for this meeting. We received word, last week that we did receive the second grant we applied for through the Community Partnership Grant from the state. So we received $48,905 that will go towards greenhouse gas studies and the resiliency planning work that you authorized with the Climate to Thrive. And I had a meeting with the Self-Starter Tremont ambulance regarding the public safety building that was discussed. Office staff was busy with VMV reports, deed transfers. The clerk assisted me with the deputy clerk performance evaluations. Worked on election changes, ordered 2023 vote stickers, and the clerk and bookkeeper assisted the auditors with the audit. Public Works, checked roads, replaced an amber marker on, light marker on truck 3, changed cutting edge on truck 2, added shoulders to the town entrance that got paved down here. Plow and Sanders put on trucks 3 and 9. Replaced some signs around town. Did maintenance on the John Deere and the case. New plow steel on truck 3. Installed the drainage ditch out here on Tremont Road down the side of Archie's lobster property. Did tree cleanup on Kellytown Road, and assisted the harbor master with putting a new, or raising a bar on the float trailer to make it easier to tow the floats, and moved a TV here at the town office. Harbor master winterized the dock, messed with the heater that keeps going out, cleaned up trash, traps and buoys, cleaned out the fishway, did an online CPR course, helped with a broke down vessel, traffic control in the parking lot, met with the new Marine Patrol officer, the state police dive team, helped with the float trailer, hauled out Goss Island float, transient floats, and the ferry terminal finger floats, dealt with a dispute at the wharf, fixed the middle hoist that got sucked into an engine, helped with, or Dave helped him with hoist rope replacement on hoist 2. There was a boat that broke free in the harbor Saturday night that he dealt with, dealt with a missing skiff in the harbor, and inspected boats in the harbor for damage from the broken, the boat that broke free. Over the next couple of weeks, I will be doing I'll have a follow-up FEMA meeting. I have several community partnership grant meetings scheduled, and continued work on the FY24 budget.
How's that drainage ditch doing?
It seems to be draining, but the road side hasn't drained completely yet.
That's what I noticed, that was still kind of holding a little bit, so I didn't know.
I
if it-
think it should have been a little lower.
Yeah,
I think the road's too low though, too.
yeah,
I think you're gonna find that.
Backfeeding at that high tide we had
Yeah.
a little while ago, so
Yeah.
that,
yeah. I think it's lowered on the road side, but it seems to be just really low.
If you went from, I was looking at it when I went by, it seems like if you went from Mike DeVim's house to almost the bridge, brought that road up just a foot, you know, so you could bring your ditches up a little
couple
bit
years ago, it
too.
was underwater for a
It's
day
low,
and a half, I
yeah,
think.
no, it's a low spot.
And right where the outlet is, or the, outlet, where it empties into the ocean is
Yeah.
ridge.
Mm.
Right there.
Yep. All right, thank you, Jess. Suggestions for the next meeting? Date of the next meeting.
Make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, December 19th, 2022 at 5 PM right here.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, December 19th, 5 PM in the town office. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Motion adjourned?
Second.
All those in favor?
I've already in favor of it.
Yeah.
Just got a message here.
Oh, no.
I told you.
I don't want that.